And on that right there, you own that house. If you know, which you do at this point, I realize you're gone, but if you know that they're growing dope in there and it's not to state laws, they can take that house. Hell, in Denver, they take it without even thinking twice. But the feds could actually take it.
Right, and I was told that. And so what I did was...
so they're gone, right?
3-day right to cure. Yes, they're gone.
So now what?
Now I have another rental in Aurora.
Well, hold on. No. Hold on. Okay. Did you sue them? I mean, there must be a little more to the story for all the damage they did. Did they pay for the damage?
No, they didn't. And to be honest, I started getting retaliated against for kicking them out. I did a 3-day right to cure.
You should have called the cops. You should have called the cops the second you knew there was more plants in there.
I should have. Like I said, I'd never been faced with that before. I was just in shock.
So the dope dealers really screwed you. Now what? What's the other house? Tell me they moved into your other house.
They're probably all related. You know what I figured out was that these people are hiring people to pass the background checks.
Yeah, of course they do.
So they're not even living there. And so I'm just trying to catch up with all this. I mean, I just didn't realize the...
Okay, first of all, let me just ask you basic questions. The house that we just discussed in Lakewood, is that ready to be rented out again?
It is. I've rented it out since these people.
Okay. If I were you in the future, I would get a management company. It would have saved you a ton of money. We have one on the referral list or a couple, and even if you find somewhere else, find a good managed company that will do the background checks. They'll check on the property. You won't end up in the same circumstance.
No, I don't agree with that, Tom, because a rental company is not going to know what's supposed to be there and what's not.
Oh, my God. A good management company. Well, Suzanne, who's a management company I like on the referral list? Who are those guys?
Denver Real Estate Moguls.
Can you get one of them on for me? Because I really do want to ask them a question, because Melissa does bring up a valid point. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe they don't have a way of knowing. But, Melissa, what's going on very quickly with the second house?
Uh-huh. Sure. So the second one is townhome, and it's adorable. I love it. I've had it forever. And I had some tenants in there just recently, and they supposedly had a baby, and
all right, hold on. Melissa, hold on. I got to put you on hold. I'm going to come back to you, I promise. We'll pick up where you left off. Try to put it in one sentence for me, though. 303-713-8255, 303-Martino. All right, 303-713-8255. Don't forget Facebook during the breaks. We were talking about absolutely anything you can imagine. We were talking about the Daphne growing marijuana outside. I'm just kidding there. But literally, we talk about anything you can possibly imagine. In fact, it's funny when people go, oh, my God, did they know? They said that over the air. Well, during break, you can only hear us on YouTube and Facebook. By the way, Deputy Dan, please monitor YouTube. Answer questions as they come in. Someone sent a message. I think they emailed. I don't know. But anyhow, I ended up with a message some way saying, hey, I would like people, why don't you guys have either Deputy Dan or a volunteer or somebody actually start answering the questions on YouTube? I know we do on Facebook, but let's open your eyes, bro. Let's just keep it at that.
I do.
Ever since I beat his ass at racquetball the other day, Brett.
First time. It was the first time.
First time.
This is kind of a feather in your cap. You beat him at racquetball. This is a big deal. He must be quite a racquetball player.
He is. He's actually, right. Dan, for his age, is very good. When I met him, he was playing pickleball. So I got him out of pickleball and got him into racquetball.
Next stop, tennis. Full court. There you go.
All right, listen. So this is, I do want to bring Rock up. But, Melissa, I'm going to ask you, on the second house, what's going on real quick? The first house, basically, pot guys got in. The second house, the townhome, we left off, there's a baby there.
There was, but I'm on my way there right now to meet a general contractor because they completely demolished my townhome.
Are we talking stuff like growing pot again or meth, or are we talking they just, you need new carpet?
I think it's pot, just because they installed a new vent on the outside of my house.
Oh my God!
They came off my furnace with these flexible duct.
All right, Melissa. Melissa, I get it. Hold tight. I got an expert I want to bring up on this. Let me kind of lock him in. Actually, I got two experts, because we're going to talk to Denver real estate moguls as well to see how they stop this from happening to their clients that use them as a management company. But first, Rock. Okay. Rock is with American Restoration, and when it comes to anything, I don't care if it's meth, I don't care if it's asbestos, any kind of chemical or toxins, this is the man. Rock, how do you get rid of marijuana if they do set up a grow? Doesn't it get into the drywall? I mean, really, what do you do?
Well, it's not so much the marijuana, or, sometimes
it's the pollen, right?
The pollens and the mold gets into the ducting systems, because even they're banning certain weeds because the indoor farmers or the farmers, they get a lot of molds and a lot of smuts and things like that are actually toxic what's in the marijuana, which affects the user.
Got it.
You're bringing the outdoors indoors, and if you don't have the ventilation system and the cleaning system to handle it, I mean, who knows what you could be getting.
And this is a big problem around Denver and California and other places. Well, actually, Denver's probably the worst, because we actually allow all the growth of marijuana in homes.
Right. And if you're not regulated, and let me tell you, it's tough to get any type of license within the MMED, within the marijuana community. They are highly regulated.
And that's why all these scams are going on with these rentals.
Exactly. They only let. I mean, it's almost, you could probably run for president easier than you could get a license for marijuana, and that's no exaggeration.
Here's what I think, Melissa. Here's what I would do. Rock, you go out and do free estimates. In other words, and I'm going to tell you something, Melissa, and I'm not kidding. If Rock looks at it and there's no issue, I promise you he's going to say there's no issue. But he does free estimates, and I'm not talking for like emergency services like flood or fire. But in a case like this, long as you're in his coverage area, he'll come out and look at it and tell you really what you're facing. On top of that, if you go to referrallist.com, we have great contractors up and down the Front Range. I don't mind giving you some advice there. But, Rock, do you mind taking a look at this at no charge for us? All right.
Not a problem.
So listen, Melissa, hold on. I'm going to give Rock's number out, 8337-AMREST. Give that to her off the air, too. 8337-AMREST. That's Rock with American Restoration. We got a lot coming up.
This is the Troubleshooter Show.
Help, I need somebody.
Now, Tom Martino, the Troubleshooter.
Welcome to the show, the only show of its kind. In fact, the only show that I know of anywhere in the world or the universe. We don't sit here, we transcend politics. You know what we do? We help you. If you've been ripped off, if you've been taken advantage of, maybe you want to just tell everybody else about a really bad company or a really bad guy. That's what this show's for. We use the power of the media to make your life better. That's how we put it. Ready for the phone number? We do have one or two lines open, whatever it is, 303-713-8255, 303-713-8255. In the house today, Frank Duran, the real estate man. Frank, I'm glad you stayed a little later. I want to ask you something. We were talking marijuana. This poor lady last hour, Melissa, calls up. Melissa says, hey, I rented my apartment. No, actually, it was a lake house down in Lakewood out to somebody, and they basically destroyed it. In fact, the guy that actually filled out all the paperwork in order to lease it wasn't even the guy that was there. They were growing dope. They tore out my carpet. They built rooms. They destroyed rooms. They destroyed my house. And she found out. And honestly, the one thing I never did ask her is how much it cost to fix up the house. But then she says another house she owns, a townhome she rents. Have you ever been into a house that you can just smell the pot everywhere? And what did you do? Did you take it as a listing?
A few times, every now and then, I'll run into this. And as long as they are properly going through all the laws and those things and growing and have the proper equipment, it's okay, but then you have to disclose it to the buyer.
You do tell the buyer.
You have to.
Yeah, because if you don't, that could come back and burn you big time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to ask Sean, and Sean is with Denver Real Estate Moguls on a referral list at referrallist.com. Sean, how would you stop something like this from happening? When I was talking to Melissa, I said, well, you know what you need to do, Melissa? And Dan heard something I didn't hear. Basically, Melissa said one of the properties was left to her. In other words, she is not in the business up until now of renting out spaces. I said, you need to use a management company. She said a management company wouldn't have figured this out either. How do you guys at Denver Real Estate Moguls stop people from moving into your customers' homes or townhomes or whatever they are and not starting to grow just hundreds and hundreds of marijuana plants? How do you stop this?
Well, I will say, Mark, although we try to be perfect, we're not perfect either. And people are pretty clever, and they definitely try to get around you. The first deterrence is a management company, though. I think tenants are a lot less likely to mess around with you when you have a management company, and the management company usually has lawyers behind them and things of that nature to go after tenants to resolve the situations after they happen. To prevent a situation from happening, obviously the main thing is picking the correct tenants in the first place, going through thorough background checks. Thorough checks with their landlords are very important too, checking their references and everything else, and really a lot of it boils down to instinct at the end of the day as well.
I have a feeling, Melissa, on the one she was talking about in Lakewood, I have a feeling what happened is someone got paid maybe $1,000 to use their social and their information in order to qualify, and they might do that all over the place. I mean, that might be how they make their income, or it was identity theft, but she neglected to ever meet personally with them and make sure that's who they're dealing with. You guys do that, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's what I mean. I think a person's a lot more likely to take advantage of a person if they know they don't have a property management company working with them. They just, the owners are just a lot less knowledgeable on how to prevent these things.
Do you generally check in on the properties occasionally, or how does that work?
So we usually do checks. We can't do checks too often. I mean, it'll be an invasion of privacy.
Of course.
I mean, if we think we have to go over there, we think there's a problem, we're over there right away. If we think we have to go over there every 2 months to make sure that this problem doesn't continue, we will do that.
Got it.
Usually we go over there about every 6 to 8 months, though, to make sure.
All right, I got it, man. So, I mean,
thorough check of the interior of the house, pictures, everything.
So, really, the main thing here is make sure you know who you're renting to. And you're right. I think these scams running out there are probably targeting just individuals more than they are management companies for the exact reasons you said. Hey, I appreciate that, Sean. And that's Sean with Denver Real Estate Moguls on our referral list at referrallist.com. If you have any properties, these guys do it all. They manage stuff that's, 20, 30 plus units. They also manage 1, 2, 3 units at a time for you. 720-841-1021. 720-841-1021. All right, 303-713-8255. Suzanne.
Mark, just to clarify here, we've gotten a couple notes that Denver Real Estate Moguls was in the news on a pot grow up in Fort Morgan yesterday. That is not them. That's Denver Realty Group. You may want to clarify that with Sean.
Sean, what's going on with that?
Thanks. Actually, I just heard that right now from Suzanne. I had no idea about that.
Oh, who is it, Suzanne?
It's a renter is accused of turning a Fort Morgan home into a large marijuana grow house. We got a couple messages saying that our referral list member is the property management company in question.
But that's
it's
not you,
They're
Sean.
called Denver Realty Group.
No, it's not us.
Denver Realty Group, not Denver Real Estate Moguls. That's always fun when you get mixed up with something like that, isn't it, Sean?
It is not.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark, it is not. Absolutely not.
All right, man. That is not them. So whoever's emailing Suzanne, it's simple as that. These guys are Denver Real Estate Moguls. That other company is whoever they are. But you know what? It's not like it could never happen to you, Sean. I mean, you basically just acknowledge
we're not perfect. Yep, we're not perfect. It has happened. So
got it. All right, thanks, man. I appreciate that. 303-713-8255. We have a couple open lines. Brant, you've been holding a while. What's going on with this dealership?
Okay, hey, thanks for taking my call. So I have a 2011 Acura MDX. I bought it 2 or 3 years ago with